Hello, everybody. This is my tale of dust bunnies.
Life is a funny old broad. She keeps you guessing.
Yes, dust bunnies, everybody. Actually, it's Bad Bunny. But I never heard of Bad Bunny, ever. Never. Until it was announced he was going to be on Super Bowl. And of course, the halftime show. And of course, the world went insane. Now, mostly it was what do you want to call that? The media that jumped right on it when somebody happened to say, we really don't want a guy who dresses up in dresses and says he's gender fluid, um, dancing in a in the NFL halftime performing. No. Well, the media, they started out. Here's some of the things that they said. Bad Bunny reveals the moment Jay-Z called him about Super Bowl halftime show. That was in the USA Today for the 2026 Super Bowl. Then Huffington Post followed that up with MAGA is freaking out about Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl. No, they're not freaking out. We just happen to have an opinion. Huffington Post again. Experts sound off as MAGA voices this one predictable concern about Bad Bunny. Now, I'm hearing some of this stuff. I'm going, who is this Dust Bunny fella? Who is Dust Bunny? So I looked up Dust Bunny, and there is a Dust Bunny. Um, he was on one of those shows, Masked Singer or something like that, and he called himself Dust Bunny. And then he got revealed later as to who he was. I don't know. But I said, this doesn't look like the guy that would perform at the halftime show, or that everybody would get upset about if you perform, because he was kind of this cartoonish type character. It's the Dust Bunny. Kids are gonna love it. I wonder what he's gonna do. That was my thought. And then I heard somebody say something again, and it was not Dust Bunny, it was Bad Bunny. I said, well, wait a minute, maybe it's Bad Bunny they're upset about. It was too funny. Personally, I've not liked a lot of the halftime shows. This one will give me opportunity merely to go do dishes, vacuum, go to the bathroom, get something to drink, and I'll not even care one way or the other. That's what usually happens when there's somebody performing that I don't like. So Bad Bunny, he's going to have his day. He's going to have his little splash, but I don't really think it's going to carry his career forward very far. Uh, Fox News said the View co-hosts hail NFL tapping Trump critic Bad Bunny for Super Bowl at sea. He's the guy. The guy is entertaining to some people, mostly not. But the media has to invent something. They got to sell papers. Well, now, you know what? They're not selling papers these days, are they? They're not selling papers these days. These days, they're not even selling magazines. Not even, People magazine. Who mostly subscribes to People and Time and stuff like that? It's these doctors' offices to give their patients something to read. How many are even sent to people's homes? They might have some that are still being purchased at the grocery store aisle at checkout, but not a lot. Because, after a while, it's the same old thing. Same old thing. So, nobody cares about Dust Bunny. I mean, Bad Bunny. Nobody cares. Now, then I got to thinking, because right about the same time that this thing started coming out about Bad Dust Bunny. That's what I'm going to call him. Bad Dust Bunny. On Substack, let's see, Substack, the Ankler Media was going to talk live to them, to her, Jane Fonda. And it was entitled, Jane Fonda Relaunches the Committee for the First Amendment with 550 plus signatories, including me. That was the Richard Rushfield. She says the live group was first led by her dad to fight McCarthyism. And she said, this is not symbolic, this is a fight. Well, now what we now know about McCarthyism and is that, you know what? He might not have gone about it the best way, but he wasn't wrong. There were communists infiltrating the government and Hollywood, publishing. He saw all of this. He had proof of much of it. And now, granted, some of the actors at the time, they weren't true communists, you know, but they were like a lot of shallow people. It's fun to get on board something and vodio dough and move along with it. So anyway, Jane Fonda, Committee for the First Amendment, free expression is an inalienable right no matter your politics. Now, I absolutely agree with that. It's called freedom of speech. And yet, Jane Fonda and all the people that are behind her and that don't like Trump, don't like MAGA, don't like religion, Christianity, don't like anybody who disagrees with them, they will shut you down in a New York minute. Shut you down. And they don't care because, you see, they're right. They are so right. And their opinion counts more. I don't know much about Henry Fonda and all that and why he started it. And I don't know how that turned out. But she is bringing it back. Let's see, what did she say? There are, the list of signatories include all the usual suspects. Let's read a few of them. Jane Fonda, of course. Aaron Sorkin, Adam McKay, Alan Cumming, Alex Gibney, I don't know who he is, Angelica Huston, Annette Bening, Barbara Streisand, Barry Jenkins, Ben Stiller, Bill Maher, Billie Eilish, Brian Lord, Chelsea Handler, oh my God, Christopher Guest, Damon Lindelof, Davis Guggenheim, Ethan Hawke, Florence Pugh, Fran Drescher, I'm getting sick as a dog, man, Glenn Close, Gracie Abrams, Hannah Einbinder, Helen Mirren, Issa Rae, Jamie Lee Curtis, J.J. Abrams, John Legend, Judd Apatow, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Julianne Moore, Larry David, Lena Dunham, Maha Dakil, I don't know who that is, Margaret Cho, Margaret Qualley, Melanie Griffith, Mike Royce, Natalie Portman, Nicolas Cage, Nikki Glasser, Olivia Wilde, Pedro Pascal, Philip Rosenthal, Quinta Brunson, Rami Youssef, Rob Reiner, poor Rob, Sammy Esmail, Sean Penn, Sean Hyder, Ted Danson, Tiffany Haddish, Viola Davis, dang, Winona Ryder, and Zoe Deutsch, and that's just a few of them. They've got over 550 at this time. They probably have more than that. What's interesting to me is that some of those names that are read out, they've been in movies where freedom of speech was being encroached upon. Okay? And that freedom of speech, First Amendment, they fought back against using violence. These are movies. Remember V? And these actors had no problem with being in a movie that uses violence to squash those who are trying to squash them in their freedoms. No problem. But in real life, they are totally willing, have been, and did squash anybody who disagreed with them, calling them names, taking them off social media, not allowing them to work, and more. We all know this. This is all over the place. Everybody knows it. Around the world, that's what's been happening. And now these same people, when others speak up and say, we don't agree with you, we don't like what you're saying, and here's what we believe, and here's why, and we're going to fight for what we believe is right, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the rule of law. And you know what? You can still have your say. That's fine. When they see us doing that, you know what they do? They form these little things to the Committee for the First Amendment. The statement reads in full. Oh, good Lord, I'm not even going to read it all. This committee was initially created during the McCarthy era, a dark time when the federal government repressed and persecuted American citizens for their political beliefs. They targeted elected officials, government employees, academics, and artists. They were blacklisted, harassed, silenced, and even imprisoned. Hello, that's what y'all been doing. Using the government. Calling yourselves Democrats, Democratic Socialists. Now you call openly calling yourself socialist and Marxist and communist. And you've used the force of government. And yet, Jane, what your father set up, Committee for the First Amendment, was to stop the overreach of government. So now we are getting a government in place that is stopping your overreach, Jane, and all the politicians that have been slowly and slyly put into place to destroy the freedom of speech of others and punish them. You don't like that. So you're bringing back your daddy's absolutely perfectly fine committee and misusing it, flat out misusing it. And Richard Rushfeld of the Ankler media on Substack, I'm shocked. I am shocked that you would join in this too. But you have the right to, and I have the right to call you out on it, just the same as you have the right to tell me I'm wrong. So, it's terrible. It's just terrible to see all of this, and they're going to try. You wait and see. Jane Fonda and all of her cronies, those who are agreeing with her, who are supporting her, they're going to fight for government. Let's read that again. Democrat people in government, socialist, democratic, socialist, Marxist, and communist, who will say they agree with her. And they're going to try very hard to now put the kibosh on people who don't agree with them at all. So, Mr. Rushfield, I really wish you had given this some more thought. I don't know that I'm ever going to read any of your stuff again. And you know, the thing is that I have shared your column when you talk about the Hollywood stuff, the business of making movies. You know your stuff. I sent it to one friend of mine, one of your articles to one friend of mine who said, my God, that guy knows what he's talking about. And I'm not going to be able to read you anymore because now I'm saying to myself, why? What is his goal? That he would sign up to try to shut down dissenting voices, because that's what's happening, and that is what will continue to happen from Jane Fonda's efforts. She hasn't changed. She hasn't changed at all. And I'm sorry that you're doing this. It's a sad, sad thing. And yet, as many of you will remember, when, let's see, before Trump was elected the second time, I had a lot of friends who said, once he gets elected, boom, man, everything's going to get back to normal and everything's going to calm down. I said, no, it's not. No, it's not. And they said, yes, it will, Angela. I said, no, it won't, because evil never stops. Evil must be stopped. And this thing that Jane Fonda is doing, she's just back to her commie ways. That's all she's doing. She's just coming out with it a little bit better. And because she's old, everybody's like, oh, she's so awesome. No, it's just because she's old. She's not thinking clear. She never has. Excellent actress. Wonderful actress. I've seen her in quite a few things. Absolutely a wonderful actress. The talent that that woman has in her little finger far outsurpasses the talent of my entire body when it comes to acting or taking on a character. I can't do it. Can't do it. She can, and that's great. But that's not why anybody should be listening to her. What she is pushing for right now is going to get a lot of people in trouble. So that's the way it's going to be. Y'all let me know what you think. Comments are below.
She treats you right.